Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk about as a video editor or someone who makes YouTube videos, should you hire other people to help you with your videos? Should you spend the money, and is it worth spending the money to hire people to help improve your videos? A little background on me first. I've been making video game montages, more specifically Halo montages, for the past 6 to 7 years now, I believe. And I never really started hiring other people to help me with my videos until the last 2 to 3 years. Now, I've done lots of collaboration where I've worked with pro players or semi-pros and even other editors where we co-edit a video together. And that's always made the video better, higher quality, and get more eyes on the video. So collaboration is huge, but it's definitely a different step when you start paying people directly to make something for you to add to your video. So the first one I'll say is the most obvious, and this kind of applies to any larger YouTuber or someone who put a little more effort into your video and you want to take it to the next step, as one of the most important things on YouTube is your thumbnail. The thumbnail is really the first thing people see, usually over the title. I was always a big advocate when making a big Halo montage, for example, paying someone to make a thumbnail, because that is something that really catches the eye. It brings in more viewers, and I'm not a graphic designer, so I'm not as good at making something that flashy. I can make good enough ones like I do for these YouTube videos, but if you look at my big montages, I have paid for a graphic designer to make a thumbnail. And for me, I find that varies between $60 and $80. You can get cheaper ones, but I like paying a little more to get like a little nicer quality one there. So that's the first person I was always willing to pay for when making videos, was one, a graphic designer. Now number two might be more of a personal one for me, but I always struggled with audio mixing or sound mixing. I was very good, or am very good, at audio editing, where my montages don't have any of the original gameplay audio in it. I just recreate that with my own single sound effects from gunshots, body falls, swish sound effects, you name it. Because it sounds a lot more cleaner with the music and I can sync it better. So I could always place them good, but I found whenever I had a high part of the song synced up with a gunshot, synced up with some other sound effect, it was always clipping, meaning that my audio bars were peaking red. I should say peaking, clipping, I forget which one it is. Either way, the audio bars in an example here are always peaking, clipping, up to red. So you're seeing it hit red, and you don't want that. That's because you have multiple things layered over each other. So I could do rough sound mixes where I play with the levels and I try to get it not to clip, but I always found those moments in particular would clip. What I did on my Snipe Down Halo 5 montage and on my Frosty Halo 5 montage is I paid for an audio mixer or sound mixer. So for that, all I had to do was export a video file, send it to him, then also export either an AF or OMF? I forget, I'll put it on the screen now. And it's basically just all the audio files you used, you're actually sending them all to him, and I would put handles on it, meaning a little chunk of the beginning, a little chunk of the end of the audio file. He'd have a little more frames to play with. That way he has all the files and they're already in place and they're all set up, and he's probably using Pro Tools. At least the guy I was using Avid Pro Tools. And there he can do all the mixing at a higher quality. Now for both my Halo montages, they're around $100 to $125 for sound mixing, and that I didn't mind at all because I was trying to get them to higher quality. But again, this always depends on your budget and what you're doing. If you're collabing with someone and they have a budget, I highly recommend first the thumbnail being something you spend money on if you aren't a graphic designer yourself, and two, audio mixing, because it takes it to that next level of professionalism. It's more subtle for some people. You might not be able to notice this was a professionally audio mixed compared to one of my other montages. But audio is more important in video in a lot of ways. Going through film school, we always learned that audio is more important. If you close your eyes, you can just listen to audio, you can really hear and kind of feel the movie more. And if you turn the audio off and just look at video, there's less emotion in it. So audio is very important. So my number two was a sound mixer, because personally I like the sound editing. So the third person I've ever spent money on to help me add to a video game montage was on Frosty's Halo 5 tournament only montage, the one that came out in July here. I'll link down to in the description, but you can see right off the bat, there's this fancy 3D work. Now I can do simple 3D stuff. You just get the model, play around with it, but really to pay a professional to make something this high quality, as you're seeing shots here on the screen, it's eye-catching. And in today's day and age, you'll notice when you watch a movie trailer, there's a mini trailer before the real trailer. It's like a few seconds, because the click-through rate or the click-off rate on YouTube videos is usually the first few seconds. People click on, they don't like it right away, they click off literally in seconds. So the intro is one of the most important things when making a YouTube video. or in my case, making a video game montage here. But I paid a lot more money, and I won't go into detail the exact numbers, to get a 3D artist to create these kind of opening shots I could mix into the intro along with the intro text, because it's a lot higher quality than what I think I could do, and I think it's more eye-catching, and I think it'll get people to watch the video longer and overall make the video better. So I had a budget because I'm working with a pro player who's partly paying, but I also paid out of my own pocket above the budget for this. That isn't to brag, it's just how important I think it is to have very impactful intros and how good I think his 3D work is. So I'll link down to the 3D artist down in the description, and you guys can hit him up if you want some 3D. Obviously you have to pay real money because these people are putting real hours in and they're professionals at what they do. Those are kind of like, or that one's anyways, kind of like the next step where you don't really need to do that. But if you are making money on it or you have a budget, I would highly recommend, as the third person you hire, is to get a 3D artist to either do like a very nice intro or just something to incorporate if you're not a 3D specialist. This just adds to it. Now everyone's videos are different and you might find different ways to use the money you budgeted, but I would always recommend a thumbnail artist. Then after that, try to fill in your weaknesses. For me, it was audio mixing, sound mixing, audio mixing, I forget which one it's called. And the 3D work I just thought was the polish on top to really make this video that much better. So do I think spending money is worth it on YouTube videos? That depends on the video. If you are making some good money from this video, or if you have a budget beforehand, or you want this video to be on your resume and your portfolio, it's a very important big video, yes, I think you should shell out some money or use some of your budget for these things. If it's your own YouTube video, maybe it's doesn't have that big of an audience, or it's an early montage for you, you don't need to do these steps. I still don't use a sound mixer on the Halo montage I did last year, but the year before I did, and this year I did, because those are big professional Halo montages with pro players. But on my lower one, I just did my own sound mixing. So really you gotta pick and choose what videos you think meet their criteria, that pay more money for these people to help you out, because I do, yes, think it's always worth it, depending again on your budget and what kind of video you're going for. But if you're thinking about it, then yeah, it's probably worth it. So these are just my opinions, kind of going off the top of the head here, but I wanted to talk about if it's worth it to hire people to help you with videos, and hopefully I covered that. If you have any questions or recommendations on other people that you maybe hired or thought about hiring, not one of the three I've mentioned, let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you next week.